These guys are just fragging out for the love of the game. Right, this match history, Elam's 2017, 2010, 19, 27, 26, 19, 33, 21, 10, 17, 30. Every single one of these games is above a 10 Elam game. None of those Elam counts. This format has basically an elimination cap at 10. So any eliminations you get past that don't count. There's literally no points for them. So these guys are just literally fragging for the love of the game. So let's be real. We're just going to break down some Peterbot and Pollo fighting. All right, first things first, before I talk about anything about the actual, fighting mechanics, wherever they're using, Pollo's just been re-farming in Slurpee as Peterbot is just flying around here, just killing a bunch of people out that are respawning and have nothing left. If he dies, then he just respawns straight back in Slurpee. Very, very similar to like what they were doing with Aussie at the FNCS Pro-Am. I don't know what this guy's... I don't know what he's cooking up here. The GL strats. I was gonna say they're not hit, but they actually hit. He hit himself. Hit the old med mist out. Goes for the mini. Pete's on the wall. Just kills himself. I mean, it's an interesting strat. I'll give him that. All right, so this fight's interesting. He sees the other player, goes for the full box, but that guy doesn't jump out this side, so he switches up angles. Now, the one thing I really want to point out that's really important about how the way that Peterbot and stuff fights, right? He goes for the pickaxe. Now, this wall just been replaced, so he didn't even break it. But he switches to his pump, and then he pumps exactly where the other player is. Like, his crosshair's aimed right at him. Goes to the wall replace, switches to his AR, and you can see the movement of his crosshair there. He did like a peanut butter edit with the gun already out. Talked about this a lot, but one of the things that Peterbot does so well is always switches to like the right weapon he's going to spray with and then hits the edit. So there, the sequence was like break wall, place wall, weapon that you're going to shoot with, which a lot of times is pump, but in this case he does it with the AR. Try to edit, which in this case he didn't get, and now he's already got his AR out, right? So he doesn't have to like still have his build piece out while he's trying to edit or whatever. He's already got like no pullout time from this. So then he can start pressuring again with the AR to go for like a second wall replace, which he ends up getting down here. Does he get that? Maybe that guy gets it. I don't know. Either way, hits the pump, then has a gun out. The reason I say this is like always having the ability to build up the muscle memory to switch back to both your AR and your shotgun whilst wall replacing. So important because it minimizes the time where you don't have a gun out. So if someone edits on you, you can shoot. So like, there's a meme that players are like pump out Pauls, as you can call them, or gun out Garys, gun out Garys and pump out Pauls. But like Peterbot basically is a pump out Paul because he always has his gun out all the time, but he's also doing it whilst building and editing. And then this other player comes on top, hits him with a pump, nice reset onto the floor. I think he goes, yeah, he takes the high walls, misses the edit, and then this is like a crazy attempt. I don't know. I mean, I wouldn't recommend anyone attempting to some piece like that, like just sprinting out on a left-hand piece and grabbing something, especially when this guy could just pump him. Sits in the cone. This is quite nice though. He does an intentional edit and then resets. Unfortunately, this guy drops down and then he just runs down again and dies. Not the best play from Peterbot by any means, but you get the gist. Now, you might think you've missed a lot of Elams. They've got 13 so far, not broken down much. That's because they're just killing respawners. This one's quite interesting though. He gets the pump and then accidentally mantles, which is not great. Then he decides to double edit out the top, ramps up. I think in this instance here, what a lot of players would do is that they would just edit through this wall in 50-50. However, I like the Pete just goes up and hits the shot, and he obviously tries to place the floor, but is kind of screwed by this. But had this little floor not been there, that would have been perfect, right? And I think one of the things that a lot of players do is they always try to go for the edit play, whereas sometimes just switching angles is the best thing to do. So what's funny about this is like they're in such a bad spot come 7th zone, right? They've spent all the time like killing people in Slurpee. It's not necessarily been that easy, that quick. 17 builds and 9 builds. Like sure, they have 15 Elams each, which is crazy. They're in a pretty rough spot. But if there's any players who can get out of a rough spot, it's these two. And this is one of the main things they always do, which is create great pinches. So Peterbot is slightly getting packed in, as you can see. But as you notice, Pollo immediately jumped down this side and he starts piecing down here. So I'll show you from both players' perspectives in a second. But as you can see, both of these guys are now focused on what Pete's doing. So Pollo just runs on the back, hits the bang, and then they're both dead. Now throughout that time, you can see Pete was sneaking in the back. He's got an angle where he can shoot the other player. So he unfortunately misses, grabs the wall, gets a nice shot. The other player runs on the back. He's pinched, but because he's still got good output at the same time, that allows Pollo to get in. Great beam from him as the other players in the back. And now, like, they're just fully capped up on materials and ready to go. This is some really nice stuff from Pollo, too, here. He's tarping his way in. There's a team right next to him, and they just spray to get into the wall here. As you notice, he just says, you know what, I'm going for it. Hits the bang 143 and gets the cone edit underneath him. And as you notice, whilst he'd edited the cone there, he managed a full piece. He placed the floor and the wall to box the other player in here and then started to hold his ramp. At this point, you can see he's holding the ramp, obviously not the cone, in case this player tries to get through. And then we see him take the pump out. Basically just waiting for it to break or for the other player to do something. And as you notice, he's just doing absolutely nothing in this scenario. So he takes the opportunity to run out, resets the cone, and then holds the wall again to make sure that guy doesn't come out. Beautiful. Look at the window. Bang! 2 bangs in a row, man. That team just got absolutely pissed on, I'll be honest. Nah, I've just watched Peterbot absolutely dominate a duo. Hold on. He jumps up. He's trying to get on the walls as a solo. I don't know what Pollo's doing. He gets on the wall. This is a great diagonal angle, but this other player does a really good job of like placing the floor to get out of him. So he runs over to the next angle, does the same thing, gets a top row, hits the pump, and now drops underneath cone full piece. Both players full box, zipped down, gets the cone in the left. This guy's sniffing. Bang! And he's dead. Lovely. In full speed. Bit of art. Bit of beauty. Wall replace. Pump. Drops down. Full boxes, both of them. Pump. Whew, lovely. Nice. Kingling on height. I've heard he's next up as one of the best fighters. I'm going to have to look at him at some point, but he might be next up, but he's been put down here. All right, there wasn't a huge amount in the rest of this game. I'm going to be jumping between matches just to see what I can find, because there's a ton of kills that I can look through all of these games. So this is a very similar clip on how they actually end up pinching as before. You can see that Pete starts to go on the wall, sees that Agers is expanding out, hits him for 100, and even though he's been pumped back in return, Pollo's right on the back wall. And this is what I mean by Pollo's always such a good support player when they're in fights. You literally can't create a better pinch than that, right? Both players on one wall just aggressing in and wiping him out super quick. This is something that not a lot of players do, and obviously it's reload, so you know you can respawn if you need to. I wouldn't never recommend doing this in FNCS, but they've traded shots, right? This other player he's just hit is like 50 HP, and so is Pete. And as he's getting sprayed below, he still just jumps straight in the box afterwards and then gets straight out again to finish the fight, right? Like, he's very confident being weak at the same time as someone else, right? He just knows he'll win the fight at the same time. If you're doing that in BR, it's a little too risky, but in Reload, obviously, you have the opportunity of respawning. All right, I know this guy's weak, but let's take this fight as an example of, like, how do you counter this? Like, how do you fight against Peterbot and Pollo as an example, right? So Pete's ramping up. He gets started onto a wall. He's trying to find where the other player is. He's kind of like tarping cheaply and find himself. There he goes. He's spotted where he is. He obviously sees his player in here. So he pickaxes, but he swings so far to the left here that if this guy makes a peek, you can't see him at all. He doesn't even bother replacing the wall here because it's a bit of a waste of time. But he takes out his pump, pumps this wall, and then just sprays through again. So, like, he's managed to break through the walls incredibly quickly and start chasing this player down, right? And now that he's hit him and he sees this player sitting here, he doesn't know what this guy's going to do. So he pumps the wall and then waits and just jumps straight in as soon as Pollo's on the other side, and then they're just wiped out, right? For a lot of the plays that they make don't even really give the other player a chance to do anything. Like, literally, what is that other guy going to do in that scenario? Maybe it's just run at him and hope for the best. A lot of the times when you see Pete die, it's just because someone runs at him and just, like, hits him with a max. Very unfortunate little minimum from Pollo here, but this is really nice. He shockwaves in, grabs some walls, bang! Misses again. But luckily he's able to 200 ohm with the AR. So it's again another pinch because Pete's on the other side. He shockwaves in, grabs a bunch of the walls. It's like a really odd bottom left 4, but he does it so quick. This guy's just clueless. He just has no idea what's going on. So he goes for the shot. Oh, he does actually hit him there. I thought he missed. And then resets. So at this point, the guy will know where he is, right? Because he sees the shot coming from this direction on his visual audio or whatever. But then he actually does a really nice edit and full boxes him here. This guy's still... Oh my, look at the sniff on that. That's great. Maybe this guy doesn't know. Maybe he's just totally lost. He just has no clue what's going on. But had he not, like, run out of this box, like, had he stayed here at this level of peak, he could just gone for another bang, gone for the kill, and then had his own wall control. But he just kind of, like, run out. I think he thought... Oh, yeah, he obviously thought that guy was escaping, so he edited the next wall as well, which caused him to miss. But some nice little piece. And as he's doing that, Pete's chasing his teammate. What's he end up doing here? Just gets on the wall, double pickaxes, sprays in, goes through the builds, hit him with a box. Whew! Lovely bit of piece. Breaks down. Yeah, and he's out. Before looking into this fight at all, just watch the names. See what happens here. Unsurprisingly, Pete is pressuring from one side. Pollo is on the other. Like, this, you can't make this up. This is just always the way that they fight. And the way that he approaches is still extremely safe, right? Safe for Pollo. You know, there's 2 of them here. You don't want to do anything too crazy. Hugging that left wall as much as you could there on that first pickaxe means that it's really hard for them to swing out. He gets the wall, misses the shot, hits the reset, holds it, and then full piece to this side. Unfortunately, there's some server lag. Again with the window, right? He's very safe. It's the left window to give him a shot rather than doing like a big like bottom left tile edit or whatever. And then just goes to the other player. I think this guy's nomads or whatever. It's just that guy's genuinely lost in the sauce and he just gets wiped out. But the full pinch, yet again, like every other fight we're watching. The thing that's always really impressive about like the best players in the world is their aim to me, right? Look at this scenario. He accidentally gets boxed. Just bangs. 185, you know. I'm in that scenario, I'm dead. There's absolutely no doubt about it. I'm dead there. But of course, it's Pete, so he hits the max bang. This is what I mean when I say the best way to kill Peterbot is literally just to run at him. Like, TTV Waffle Joe 44. AR only in the inventory. Look at the play he makes. That guy's going... He slides, tries to get out and just sprays him. Runs back, hits the ramp edit, and almost kills Pollo in this instance, right? Just by literally running at their face. I'm not saying this is the play you should make. I'm not saying you're the GOAT if you just run at people like this. I mean, honestly, it works more times than not, I'll be honest. No, it doesn't. That's not true. It doesn't. It doesn't work more times than not. Don't try that. Right, this guy's next up. I've just watched his teammate get absolutely pantsed on. And then he put in some work on Peterbot and Pollo, right? Almost killed Pollo there, hit him with a 30 white from above, which is very nice. I don't know if he tries to disengage now. He tries to play high still. Look at him. He's flying. Hits the little reset. Baited out Pete. Full stinky boxed Pete. He's lost in the sauce. The only reason he gets out there, Pete actually survives, is because Pollo ended up going to the back. Nice little rebox. He's got him on the ropes. Insta edits through. Gets... like I was going to say, sees that Pete is going for that wall and doesn't what was I going to say, and sees there's one missing there. Horribly explained. Grabs the window. Pete does a good job of jumping up over the top though. He's getting third party. I wonder, like, if he wasn't getting third partied here, maybe doing way better. But now he's chilling. He's got back a bunch of space. He's using the med mist from Pete. I missed his edit like 3 times. Pete's on the wall, spraying at the side while they're getting basically doubled. So he drops down. Nice rebox to get away. He's got another double box here. So he can spend his time to sit and pop minis, try and heal off. Pollo spraying on the side wall. So he jumps over that box. Nice little window edit, which would have been a good little bang if he'd been able to look through there. Pete now starts spraying from that angle too. Pre-fires him and gets the wall and the ramp in between. This guy's putting in work, man. He's almost hitting the 1v2 on the big Pete and Pollo. Spoiler, he doesn't, but starts scouting to see if he runs out of that angle. It's a really nice little lurk, actually. Isn't able to. Gets himself another little box. Drops back down to the old builds. Jumps back into the original box he had. Gets everything reset. Runs in. Doesn't get the shot there. Edits. Tries to hit it down and miss. 84. And then I don't know what ended up happening. He almost killed Pete there too. And he almost killed Pollo earlier. So shout out to QK? I don't know how to pronounce that guy's name. He's packing them in, I'll be honest. This is a really nice play here. He spots the body that's rolling. I think it flies this guy, Zencore. And he sees out the corner, right? Very obvious as he's rotating to this. Kanada and Curve are also going for this body at the same time. So he drops and just grabs the wall. Rather than going for this body at all, he doesn't want to greet it. He just goes for the kills. Jumps on the right. Tries to cone and reset to bait out the pump. But doesn't... Well, he does actually end up doing that. Then Pollo goes to the other side. Kanada's full housed. Gets the kill. But as he does this kill, rapid little cone edit there to block the pump from Curve. And then just ends up pre-firing, getting the wall, and grabbing the body back. RIP Kanada. From killing Kanada, he managed to get the... I was going to say the mythic Banginator. The exotic Banginator right here. And he goes up against none other than Higgs and Clicks. It's a little 20 onto the top of them. Clicks starts to spray. He goes to jump on, but Clicks manages to drop the shot. It's the doubles. This is a bad look. Bang, 185. Oh, Higgs, no. Can't be getting stuck in the piece like that. It's not my intent, just to show Clicks and Higgs getting pooed on every time, but Pete gets shot in the back here. He's just killed Higgs a second ago. Flies over. Look at this protection. He goes to the mini. Pollo's on the other side. Look at these couple cones here. Couple cones. Pickaxe doesn't even matter. Clicks is just running straight in the face. The edit were to block the pump. Reset. Both are in. Minimum, unfortunately. And he's down. There's another great example of just running out at someone's face. Like, Higgs is super weak. He's obviously just been respawning. He's created a 2x1 here, and Pollo drops on the side. And from this position, it's very obvious that Higgs could just go for, like, an edit and a pump. And, you know, being 200 HP, that's how you're going to lose. So he swings to the left, pre-fires just in case, and then places that wall and edits back through. And you can see, like, the play Higgs makes, because he has, like, absolutely nothing, is just to run through. Had he timed this slightly better, it would have worked. But he actually ends up missing there. Or no, does he hit? Oh, no, he ended up no-scoping him after. Sorry, yeah. He gets the shot off. But nice from Pollo just to recognize that because he's weak, he's probably just going to run out at him. Now they're just double emoting on his body. Oh, look at this lovely bait by Pollo, too. He goes down and seizes a player with his pickaxe. This is bait. I mean, I'm not going to say what it basically is at that point. Edits. Look at him. Caught out, pump, and then just places the floor afterwards. And attempts to sprint out of the box, but it doesn't end up, of course. So he used the fact that there wasn't a floor there to his advantage. Now, you know, the other player could have also just floored him, but he obviously had the idea of just sprinting out of the box to get out anyway. So very nice way just to hit a little max. Now both of them are together, just double spraying in. I think it's going to be the end for that duo. Yup. Oh, someone else managed to get full box. Somehow Sales got full box there too. Another thing that Pete does really well is he never really overextends into the box. He grabs this cone on the left and then grabs the wall. It's a 4 tile. I think he attempts to make a cone there and then places the left wall to block them. Obviously, this team was like running this direction, so placing that left wall makes a lot of sense. And then just cones. He's just staying back, right? He's like, I think a lot of players in this scenario, once they've got a cone or a wall, they just run straight in. And only once that player has gone out the back of the box, especially with his teammate too, then he commits in and runs in and goes to the piece and goes for the body down below. I'll be honest, one thing I don't really like about Reload in terms of analyzing it is the fighting is very much so about using the insanely broken weapons and the fact that everyone is weak, right? Like, so many of the elims they've had in this game already have just been players flying out of the sky over and over again, coming down. Either way, hope you guys enjoyed this video and learned something. Like, subscribe. Peace.